Hezbollah and Israel War History. The history of the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel is deeply rooted in the broader Middle East conflict and has evolved through a series of key events, particularly since Hezbollah's formation in the early 1980s. The main conflict is driven by Hezbollah's ideological and political opposition to Israel, its support for Palestinian causes, and its ties to Iran and Syria. Key events and phases in the Hezbollah-Israel conflict. Formation of Hezbollah, 1982. Background: Hezbollah was founded in the early 1980s during the Lebanese Civil War, in the wake of Israel's invasion of Lebanon in 1982. The invasion was aimed at expelling the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, from southern Lebanon. The Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon, which lasted until 2000, played a central role in the creation of Hezbollah. Support: Hezbollah was established with the backing of Iran, which provided financial, military, and ideological support. Hezbollah's mission was to resist Israeli occupation and promote an Islamic resistance movement. The Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon, 1982–2000. Hezbollah's resistance. During the Israeli occupation, Hezbollah led an armed resistance campaign against Israeli forces and their allies, the South Lebanon Army, SLA. It gradually built a strong military infrastructure, employing guerrilla tactics, ambushes, and rocket attacks. 1985 Open Letter. Hezbollah issued a manifesto calling for the removal of all foreign forces, including Israeli, from Lebanon and the establishment of an Islamic government. This solidified Hezbollah's political and military role in Lebanon. The 2000 Israeli withdrawal. Israeli withdrawal. In May 2000, Israel withdrew its forces from southern Lebanon, citing the cost of the occupation and the effectiveness of Hezbollah's resistance. Many in Lebanon and across the Arab world saw this as a victory for Hezbollah, which had portrayed itself as the main force driving the Israelis out. Hezbollah's role. Following the withdrawal, Hezbollah continued to operate in southern Lebanon, claiming to be defending the region from any potential Israeli incursions. The group also positioned itself as a key player in Lebanese politics. The 2006 Lebanon War, Second Lebanon War. Background: on 12 July 2006, Hezbollah launched a cross-border raid into northern Israel, killing 3 Israeli soldiers and capturing 2 others. This attack was a response to Israeli airstrikes on Lebanese territory and a long-standing desire to retrieve Lebanese prisoners held in Israeli jails. Israel's response. Israel launched a massive air and ground campaign against Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. The conflict lasted for 34 days, during which Hezbollah fired thousands of rockets into northern Israel, causing significant civilian casualties and damage. Casualties: around 1,200 Lebanese, mostly civilians, were killed, and 160 Israelis, mostly soldiers, died during the war. The conflict caused significant destruction in Lebanon. Outcome: while the war ended in a United Nations brokered ceasefire, neither side achieved a clear victory. Hezbollah claimed success, as it survived the Israeli offensive and maintained its military capabilities, while Israel was criticized for not achieving its objectives of dismantling Hezbollah's infrastructure. The war further entrenched Hezbollah's position as a major force in Lebanon. Post-2006 and escalating tensions. Hezbollah's strengthening. After 2006, Hezbollah continued to strengthen its military capabilities with the support of Iran and Syria. It developed an extensive network of rocket launchers, missile systems, and military infrastructure. Syrian Civil War. Hezbollah became heavily involved in the Syrian Civil War since 2011, fighting alongside the Syrian government forces, which are led by President Bashar al-Assad. This intervention further solidified Hezbollah's relationship with Iran, but also raised tensions with Israel, which views the group's military presence near its borders as a direct threat. Border clashes. Sporadic skirmishes and cross-border exchanges of fire have continued between Hezbollah and Israel in recent years. These clashes have often been sparked by Hezbollah's military activities in southern Lebanon, Israeli airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in Syria, and Hezbollah's involvement in attacks on Israeli soldiers. Israel-Hezbollah conflict, 2023 present. This article is about the escalation that began in 2023 and led to the 2024 Israeli invasion of Lebanon. A 14-month-long conflict between the Lebanese resistance fighter group Hezbollah and Israel began on 8 October 2023 when Hezbollah launched rockets and artillery at Israeli positions following the 7 October Hamas-led attack on Israel. The conflict escalated into a prolonged exchange of bombardments, leading to extensive displacement in Israel and Lebanon. The conflict, part of the broader Middle Eastern crisis, marked the largest escalation of the Hezbollah-Israel conflict since the 2006 Lebanon War. In September 2024, Israel intensified its operations with 2 waves of electronic device attacks targeting Hezbollah's communication systems and assassinated the group's leading figures, including Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah. On 27 September, the Israeli Air Force bombed and destroyed Hezbollah's main headquarters in Beirut, killing Nasrallah. On 1 October, the Israeli military began a full-scale invasion of southern Lebanon. On 8 October 2023, Hezbollah started firing guided rockets and artillery shells at Israeli positions in the Sheba farms, which it said was in solidarity with Palestinians following the Hamas attack on Israel and beginning of Israeli bombing of the Gaza Strip. Israel retaliated by launching drone strikes and artillery shells at Hezbollah positions. Israel also carried out airstrikes throughout Lebanon and in Syria. In northern Israel, the ongoing conflict has forced approximately 96,000 individuals to leave their homes, while in Lebanon, over 1.4 million individuals have been displaced. Hezbollah stated it would not stop attacks against Israel until it stops its military operations in Gaza. Israel said its attacks would continue until its citizens could return safely to the north. Background: 2023 Al-Aqsa clashes. A series of violent confrontations occurred between Palestinians and Israeli police at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in Jerusalem in April 2023. After the evening Ramadan prayer, Palestinians barricaded themselves inside the mosque because report was, some Jews' religious fundamentalist leaders said to Jews, sacrifice a goat at the site, which is forbidden by Israeli law. In response, Israeli police raided the mosque, injuring 50 people and arresting at least 400. In the aftermath of the clashes, Palestinian resistance fighter groups fired rockets into Israel from the Gaza Strip and Lebanon as a response to the events at Al-Aqsa. Key issues driving the conflict. The reason for the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah is that Israel is continuously occupying the area of the neighboring country which borders Israel. Palestinian issue. Hezbollah is a staunch supporter of Palestinian causes, and its rhetoric often includes calls for resistance to Israeli policies, especially in relation to the Palestinian territories.